The first episode of Lanterns introduces Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart through a murder investigation that slowly reveals a much bigger threat. At first, Jon sees Hal as an irresponsible and arrogant mentor who doesn't seem to take anything seriously. Hal, meanwhile, treats the Green Lantern ring as a dangerous tool rather than a symbol of heroism. Their relationship becomes the center of the episode as they investigate a suspected alien in a small Nebraska town. But beneath the mystery, the episode is also about fear, loneliness, trust, and the burden of being responsible for other people. The episode introduces the idea of fear before we even meet the adult Jon and Hal. In the 1996 flashback, Hal explains that becoming a Green Lantern requires answering one simple question: are you afraid? Hal says that after his father died, he felt there was nothing left to fear. At first, this sounds like an explanation for why Hal became a Green Lantern. But the episode later gives us another interpretation. Hal may not actually be fearless. He may simply have become disconnected from fear. This is important because fear is supposed to protect people. It tells us when something is dangerous and when we should stop. Hal's attitude is almost the opposite. He jumps out of a moving car, starts fights to get himself arrested, walks into dangerous situations without hesitation, and eventually confronts an alien who has a bomb inside his body. He treats danger almost like an inconvenience. The sheriff, Carrie, notices this when she tells Jon that Hal isn't fearless. He's lonely. That line gives us one of the clearest ideas about Hal's character. His courage may not come from having no fear. It may come from having very little left that he feels is worth protecting. The opening scene with Jon's father shooting an apple off his head is strange, but it also establishes an important idea about fear. The father asks him if he's afraid. When he says no, his father shoots the apple and then hugs him. The scene suggests that Jon's understanding of courage was shaped by fear from a very young age. His father teaches him that being brave means standing still when something frightening is happening. This connects directly to the Green Lantern test. Jon eventually becomes a Lantern trainee, so the question from the beginning of the episode follows him into adulthood. The difference is that Jon doesn't seem to believe he has nothing to fear. He's cautious, confused, and frustrated with Hal. That actually makes Jon an interesting contrast to Hal. Hal acts like he has no fear. Jon understands that danger is real. The episode may be suggesting that true courage isn't about pretending that fear doesn't exist. It's about knowing that you are afraid and still making the right choice. The Green Lantern ring is more than a superhero gadget in this episode. Hal calls it a dangerous weapon, and that description is important. Instead of treating the ring like a reward for being a hero, Hal treats it like something that can cause serious damage if used incorrectly. This makes his relationship with the ring much more complicated. The ring gives its wearer enormous power, but the wearer still has to decide when and how to use it. That creates a basic question for Jon. Can he be trusted with that power? The episode delays Jon's first real use of the ring. He has been training for 2 months, but has never even worn it. Then Hal suddenly puts the ring on the dashboard and abandons him in a moving car. It's a terrible way to train someone, but it forces Jon to make a decision. He could panic, or he could act. Jon puts the ring on and saves himself. This moment shows that Jon's first step toward becoming a Green Lantern isn't about proving that he's fearless. It's about responding to danger when there's no time to think. The younger version of Hal stored inside the ring is another interesting symbol. The hologram represents the man Hal used to be. The younger Hal is confident and prepared, while the present-day Hal is tired, messy, and reckless. The difference between the two versions shows how much the job has changed him. The fact that the hologram is designed as a sentinel also matters. Even when Hal isn't physically present, a version of him remains behind to protect others. In a way, Hal has created a version of himself that can survive without him. That becomes especially interesting because the episode ends with Hal himself dead at the exact place the younger Hal warned Jon about. The younger Hal's message leads Jon to the investigation, meaning that the old version of Hal indirectly guides the new Lantern toward his future. The relationship between Hal and Jon is one of the strongest parts of the episode because they're almost complete opposites. Jon is young, serious, and still trying to understand what the Green Lantern job actually means. Hal is experienced, confident, reckless, and clearly tired of the role. Hal calls Jon Jr., which immediately creates a teacher and student dynamic. But Hal doesn't behave like a normal mentor. Instead of carefully explaining things, he throws John into dangerous situations and expects him to figure things out. At first, this makes Hal seem careless. But there's another possibility. Hal knows that the job can't be learned entirely through instructions. At some point, John has to make decisions for himself. The murder investigation gives the episode its mystery structure. Hal believes that the shooting at the football field is connected to aliens, while Carrie initially sees the lanterns as outsiders interfering in a local investigation. This creates another important contrast. Carrie represents normal law enforcement. She wants evidence and jurisdiction. Hal operates on information that exists outside normal human understanding. Neither side is completely wrong. The episode makes Hal look suspicious at first because he seems to jump to the alien explanation before anyone else. But he eventually proves himself right when the suspect reveals that he really is an extraterrestrial. The alien doesn't simply announce that he's from another planet. Instead, he speaks in hypotheticals and gradually reveals that he knows far too much about Hal and the Green Lantern ring. His knowledge about the ring's limited power is especially important. It means Hal isn't dealing with an enemy who's simply stronger than him. He's dealing with someone who understands his weaknesses. That makes the threat much more dangerous. Will Macon introduces another side of the alien threat. He believes aliens are coming to take over Earth and seems completely prepared to do whatever is necessary to stop them. At first, he sounds like a paranoid conspiracy theorist. But the episode makes things more complicated because Hal eventually proves that aliens really are hiding among humans. Will has identified a real threat, but his response to that threat is disturbing. His statement about wanting to protect the planet from anyone not born on it goes beyond simply fighting dangerous aliens. It suggests an ideology based on fear of outsiders. That makes Will an important contrast to Hal. Both men claim to want to protect Earth. Both believe there's a threat that ordinary people don't understand. But they approach that threat very differently. Hal is investigating, but Will already believes that he knows the answer. That difference matters. The episode may be warning that recognizing a real danger doesn't automatically justify every action taken in response to it. The football field is one of the most important locations in the episode. It appears at the beginning of the investigation and returns at the very end when John finds Hal's body. At first, the field represents violence and mystery. A mass shooting has taken place there, and Hal believes an alien may be responsible. By the final scene, the story suddenly jumps forward to 2026, and John goes to the same football field and finds his former mentor sitting dead in the bleachers. John is older, Carrie has barely aged, and Hal is dead. We don't know how Hal died, and we don't know who killed him. But the scene gives us one major clue. Hal isn't wearing the ring. That detail is probably important. The ring has been connected to Hal's identity throughout the episode. It represents his power, his responsibility, and his connection to the Green Lantern Corps. Finding Hal without it raises several possibilities. Maybe someone took it, maybe Hal gave it away, maybe the ring rejected him, or perhaps the circumstances of his death are connected directly to the ring. The first episode of Lanterns mixes a superhero story with a crime mystery. Hal and John are very different, but both must learn what it really means to be brave and responsible. Hal is experienced but damaged by the job, while John is still learning to trust himself. The alien mystery adds another layer, while Will Macon's paranoia shows how fear of outsiders can become dangerous. The final reveal of Hal's dead body changes everything and leaves the biggest questions surrounding his death and John's future. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.